Welcome back, everybody. It's Rama from Junk Journal Divas. Hello, my friends. I am today going to revisit these tag books that I made last year. I am showing this because I'm going to put these tag books into my Etsy shop, so they will be listed there. These were so much fun to make, so let's take a look at these. So first of all, I just out all these fibers that I used on them, I love. I've got this is Tim Holtz ephemera kit. I put some bling on here. My paper lace, of course. I'll put a list of all the digitals in the shops that I use, because I did use a lot of digitals. The majority of them are from G&T Designs, and this is embossed. So all of the tags have this on the front. I have our little cat over here. And here we just have some ephemera pieces. I'm not going to pull every single thing out. I did some more bottles. And I also added some of my tea bags that I made, my tea bag tags. So they're double-sided and have little sayings on them. Can put some of those down in there. And these are just little tickets that are stickers. Digitals are from Miles Beyond the Moon, so I really mixed and matched a lot, you guys. I used so much stuff in here. And then this page, I did my little waterfall notebook with some purple dyed paper that I did. I had this in my stash. Another witch over here. We go to the back. This is one of my paper dolls that I did, one of my bat ladies. And then this page in the center, got another one of my little ladies here. On most of the spreads, I would do, you know, a collage thing, maybe a little tuck area, and then something like a pocket on the other side. So over here, I have one of my little books that I did. There we go. So this pulls out, and it's double-sided. I guess I should turn it this way, so it's not upside down. Cute little images. Each of these books, I have a one of my paper dolls that I made, and I just put on another tag. And then we're back to the beginning. So this is the first one. And I think in order to separate these, to tell them apart, I am just going to call them kind of what it has on the front. So we're going to call this one Happy Halloween. This one has a little pumpkin on it. I'll call this one The Strange Story. So here, got a little image, and then some more of my bottles that I did here. I made this a flip up, so flips up. Just have a little jar here, mason jar, and just some little goodies down here too. And over here, another Tim Holtz doll with the crackle paint. And some of my goodies in here, bottles I did. This is watercolor paper, avocado dyed. I did this with my avocado dyed paper. Want my tea bag tag in this one. And then here, this is just a collage with a frame. I did messy sewing around, and my Batgirl tag. My back page, I have that I want my mummy again, because it just cracked me up with these little kid spooky things. So this one pulls down. Here we go. And then we got the other side here. And there we have The Strange Story. One page before I remembered to turn on my video, but it's okay because I pretty much use all the same elements and a lot of the same techniques for the rest of the page. Just so my book doesn't get too bulky, I pretty much stick with the idea of doing a pocket on one side and some sort of a collage on the other side. So I'm starting off and thinking about, you know, the papers that I want to use for my pocket. And I have this Tim Holtz photo that I put some crackle paint on, and I have the frame around it, and I had the idea that I could make it flip up. So that's what I decided to do on the right side of this page. And bouncing around a little bit here, I had this ruffle and I decided to put this on the cover somehow. So I stapled it on. I did end up going and using my sewing machine and sewing it on. And later in the video, I used some double-sided sticky tape also just to kind of help hold it into place. So now I'm back to my photo again and still playing around with this piece of ruffle fabric that I made. So I just want to glue my photo down onto this base piece of paper. And I'm going to go around this and do some sewing, some messy sewing. And so that's why I'm just using the piece of the double-sided sticky tape. This is just to kind of hold it in place for the time being. And now I'm showing that I did go around and did some messy sewing. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue the flap down onto my page. And I want to cover up that little flat part, so I just decide to put this piece of Tim Holtz ephemera on the top. And you'll see for this piece, I only put glue on the side and the bottom so that if I want to use this as a little tuck, I can. And I'm going to do the same exact thing for this piece of scrap paper. This is also from the Tim Holtz Backdrops paper collection. And I also have a bunch of these leaves. This is just one of the many elements that I prepared before starting these projects. So I have a lot of different colors and inked them up a little bit different ways. So I thought this really looked good on the page. I like the pop of color. And now I'm just adding a few extra little pieces and elements for interest. And now this is the Tim Holtz, the Foundry Wax. So I'm using a stamp that looks kind of like a screw, and I'm going to just stamp that on in different places. And what you do, you use your heat gun to set it, and it works very quickly. And then you can see I just took some of those numbers from the die cut numbers and just rubbed to get the excess off my hand and onto the numbers just for a little bit of extra something with them. So I like the way that looks too. And now for the other side, I'm going to put together my pocket. So as always, I ink up all of my edges before I glue things down. And I'm doing the pocket so it's going to be on the one side, but I'm going to overlap a pocket on the other side. Just makes it kind of fun. So if you remember, the first video that I did was putting together the tag books in 2 different ways. And for this one, I used the tab binding. So I decided to just go ahead and put my page dividers on each page of the book. The other books that I do are the accordion hinge, so they open differently. And I'm moving on to another spread here that I'm doing, and this is just some of the paper that I embossed and inked up to prepare for decorating some of my books here. And here you can see some of the leaves that I'm just playing around and seeing what colors I like here and what I want to use on this page. I did a lot of fussy cutting, so I was excited to kind of use some die cuts that I didn't have to cut things out, could just use those elements, make it easy, and also the Tim Holtz, the sticker book, and some of the ephemera pieces that I use. I wanted a little bit of orange paper, so I ran this through my embossing machine and just inked up this orange paper. But after all that, I decided that I didn't want to use the orange paper. So here I decided to use some of the Tim Holtz backdrop papers. And also the dolls that are here, those are Tim Holtz dolls also. And I just decided to put them in the frame. And you'll see a lot of the dolls, and I have a couple photographs also. They are all Tim Holtz, and I used his crackle paint on top. This orange piece that I'm using, this is also a die cut, and I did a couple of them and just pulled them apart and broke them into pieces. And now my paper lace, you guys know I love this stuff. It was so perfect, especially with Halloween. It's very grungy and dark looking. I really loved using it. So here I'm showing you, I put the doll, layered up the paper, and I just went around with my sewing machine, did some messy sewing to hold all the pieces and layers together. So I wanted something to be in the background there, and you can see here I am just going once again just on those two sides so that I could tuck something behind there if I wanted to. And so now that that's done, just adding a few extra little elements. This purple paper is one of the papers that I did the stamping and embossing glaze on, and I really liked that because it has the smooth, the texture to it, and also the shine. These bottles, these are also a die cut, and I used these for my paper doll video that I just did previously. But I just wanted to add a little something to them, so I did some stamping. And now I am playing around with my moons. I used a lot of the yellow paper for full moons. So you can kind of see I'm using all the same elements. I have my paper lace, my embossed papers, I have my moons and all my different die cuts. I have my Tim Holtz ephemera. Now this little piece of paper I just got from Julia Ward, one of my Diva sisters, and I thought it was such a great idea, just using strips that you have, you know, and little scraps, and you just sew on them. And on this left side, oh my goodness, guys, if you would see my desk, I just had little pieces, scrap pieces of paper, tiny little things torn apart all over my desk. Because you can see I'm just taking little pieces of scraps. It's really about color and texture for me here right now, making sense of it, kind of just collaging. And also here, the bottle, when I glue this down, you can see once again, I kind of leave that one side open so I can tuck something behind it, maybe a little surprise, little something there. And here I'm adding that little piece of purple. I really liked bringing purple into this project. And just Halloween in general, I love the purple color. So here I'm back to my bottles and just adding a little bit to them, decorating them a little bit. Oh, and the mask that I just put on my lady, those are also from the Tim Holtz sticker book. So there are two different kinds of masks. There are some hats in there, skulls, and all the different Halloween sayings. And now I'm just adding a little bit of bling. Of course, we have to have a little bit of bling on the front here. Now I'm just playing around a little bit more with some elements, and I have this fuzzy yarn. This is what I decide to put on the front and then also the back tag. And I did sew those on so that they were just nice and stuck on there. And I'm just using these bottles for now just to show the little pockets that I'm making. So here's a look at some photos that I took of these books. And again, these will be in my Etsy shop, and I have the link in my video description if anybody is interested. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon for some more crafty adventures.